guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Just want to give a quick message. First, I want to say I have been busy. But have a lot that I am doing, but guys, I am uploading as I am able to, and I am reading the comments and things. One of the things I'm thankful for, guys, is that I have a lot of videos here, so there's a lot to glean from. So even when nothing is uploaded, there's plenty of videos. So I encourage you to check out my videos, guys. Just go to the video tab. You can check things out. You can also go to the playlist tab and you'll see videos that I have categorized, and you're able to just check things out that I have there. I want to say this, and I always say it. You may go to my videos and you hear something that you like, but then maybe you find another video you don't like or you don't agree with. This is okay. Just keep it respectful. Please do not come at me, start talking out, or cursing. I am always so surprised how nasty believers get. If you say something that they don't like, if you don't like something, it's fine. Just please talk like you have some sense. Please work those fruits of the Spirit and make your point, and I can hear what you have to say. I may learn something. And if I still don't get it, you already told me, I can shelve it. It's okay. But what is not okay is to be disrespectful. All right? What I want to talk about is not to allow the elections to cause you to stop being friends with people, to stop talking to your family, to stop talking to start hating people. All right, we have to remember what the Word of God says, that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but it's against principalities and powers and the rulers of the darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. These are things that I'm saying to you, and these are things that I always have to remind myself of as well in this time, in this season. There's a heightened sense of tension and contention out there. The atmosphere is charged, as there will be a new principality that will be taking over in November 5th, okay, and then next year. So at least for the United States. So there's a lot going on, but let's bring this back to the believer. Believers, we can't forget that we are still believers. Some of you may be voting. Some of you may not be voting. Some of you may be a Democrat. Some of you may be Republican. Some of you may be independent. Whatever you may be. And some of you may say, I'm none of the above. Whatever your position is, just remember this. We're still children of God. It is okay to disagree. But we should not be attacking one another. We should not be calling each other names. We should not be ending friendships and getting into heated debates with anybody about anything. And if you find yourself doing that, you need to catch yourself. Yes, we may be passionate about things, but are you necessarily passionate about that candidate, or are you passionate just about how you feel about a matter? And it's okay, you may have some passion about what you feel on a matter, but you don't want to do it where you are destroying and tearing down your brother, your sister, your actual blood siblings, your mom, your dad, your sons, your daughters, because I believe a lot of that is going on. This is a time that opens our eyes to so many things. It's actually a time that layers are peeled back. You realize, oh my goodness, this is a roach. It's the time you see maybe the nature of someone. Not so much their political view. A person can have their political view. You have to understand that. Whenever you have a problem with someone's political view, and to the point that you are trying to change your mind or you're cursing them out, then you're in the wrong. All right. Whenever someone has a problem with your political view to the point that they're trying to change your mind and they're going to curse you out for thinking how you think, then they're in the wrong. Because now you're trying to make me, or you are trying to make someone else think a certain way. And you have no authority, nor do they. Just have to understand this is how that person feels about this matter. And you should be able to express your point peacefully. And if it doesn't, you should not get revved up. You should not be going from third, fourth, fifth gear and hitting the gas and going and slamming things down and calling the person stupid. You're out of line. Or anyone that's doing that to you is out of line. And that's when I say you discover the roach underneath all of that. This is how you discover stuff. Not because of their political views, but how they behave if you don't think like them. Or how they behave if they can't convince you. Or how you behave when you realize someone does not have the same point of view as you. Or they're not voting for the same person you're voting for, or they're independent and they're not voting at all, because independents can be looked down on as well. You be criticized. Oh, you don't care about your country, or you're part of the problem. No, it's their choice. So this is the time, guys, that we are gonna see ourselves. Is there a roach in the mirror? Regardless of whatever we feel or whatever side you're on, we want to be able to always be where Christ is on display. Don't break up your relationships. Don't get into these fights and heated debates over individuals that don't know you. You stop talking to your friend, and these candidates are going to be here and going on about their business, and you messed up your relationship with your best friend over differences in political views. Do not allow that to happen. That is why sometimes I tell people it's best just not to get into political discussions with people. Politics is one of those subjects that you kind of avoid. I think you should avoid doing that at Sunday dinner. You can figure out, people are eventually going to tell you who they're going to vote for or their point of view, and you sit there and you listen. Oh, okay. No one has to know who I'm voting for. I may not agree with you, but I'm not going to sit there and challenge you, because that is your choice. But we should not allow those things to be going on, guys, because then it means you're in your feelings. Any candidate that I look at or I select, I look at certain things about that person, because there is no perfect candidate. So there may be certain things I look at, and you have to realize, for me, there's no squeaky clean candidate. I've always said that. And how I look at things is whose values lines up the most with mine and my way of life and how I think, or what I think may or may not be good for the future of my children and those coming up, and the state of the country. Those are things that I will think about. Okay? But then everyone can give you a promise and change. So that's where we have to ultimately realize and think to ourselves and ask God to help us. And that's what I did. In asking God, in really seeking God's hand in which direction do I go in, if at all. And if God says this way, or if he impresses upon me this way, that way, or none, don't do it at all, then that's what it is. Because there's some people God has revealed to them not to vote for anybody. Maybe that's what God has said for you. Okay? But a lot of times people are going based on their feelings and their emotions. A lot of times they're not seeking God on things. A lot of times they're not asking God that His will be done. And we can say, God, let your will be done. But God is not going to go down there and go in those ballot boxes. He's not going to put in a vote for you. So He may require you to pray. He may require some of you to go down there to vote, to do certain things. There is a role for all of us. But we have to seek God, follow that. And then you don't have to explain yourself. And you don't have to fight with people. And you have to know that whenever someone has a reason why they're voting how they're voting, they have a reason for it, they believe it, you got to leave them alone. And not allow yourself to get emotional and to the point that you get angry at people. You have to have the wisdom to recognize and see, hey, if you see there's too much contention or too much of a heated debate or whatever it may be going on, you can say, you know what, I think it's best that we don't talk about this. This is not a good subject for us. I care more about preserving our relationship, our marriage, our friendship. I don't want to talk about politics. Because unfortunately, a lot of people are making choices based on that. People are cutting their family members off. People are breaking off relationships with people. Now, I understand it may bring out a part of somebody that's nasty. Okay? That's what I'm noticing. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing. So let's say there's someone you're supposed to marry, and then they realize you have a different political view about something, and then this very nasty side of them come out, a very aggressive side. Well, that's a warning shot right there. So yeah, you may have to think about whether or not you want to go forth with a relationship if you have somebody who's so passionate about their view that they may become verbally abusive towards you and alienate you and don't talk to you and stonewall you. That's something to think about. But it is going to, this is a time that is going to reveal a lot of things about ourselves. It's going to reveal a lot of things about other people, because it's a spiritual thing that's going on. And you want to make sure that you don't get caught up in the current so much that you're not paying attention anymore, and you're getting all emotional and riled up. Because I tell you, there are times I can get riled up. There are things that I have a strong, I am strongly against certain things. Okay? And so, yeah, I'll stand up for it. I'm going to speak about it. I may feel that way in the privacy of my own home and feel some type of way about it. But I ask God to help me, and I ask God ultimately to put the right person in power and in authority. And honestly, you know, sometimes it's so strange, because we may think we know who's the best choice. And we may say, well, this person is the best choice or that person is the best choice. But ultimately, God is one who's going to know who's going to be the best choice. And we have to have the confidence that God is in control. And whatever part you need to play, whether it's your vote, your ballots, your ballots, your prayers, don't forget that now. Because a lot of times people, they're forgetting that part and they just getting mad and they're getting riled up. It can happen to any one of us. I found myself getting a little spicy at some point. Not with anyone in particular, but just how I felt about certain things. And I had to say, pump your brakes. You're doing too much. And if we're feeling too much, guys, and if we're getting too angry, that means we're putting our trust more in man. That is my thoughts. More than you cast your vote and you put the rest in God's hands. And what you do during this time is to pray and to seek God, not trying to break people down and trying to make them vote a certain way, but pray and be careful in your prayers. None of those demonic prayers of kill this person, and even if you don't like the person, be careful how you are praying. We're praying that God's will is done. Not that God caused anybody's plane to blow up or anybody to die or anyone like that. Because whether we like them or not, they're still souls. And obviously, if God wanted somebody dead, he could have just stopped their heart in the night. So just don't let the elections cause you to become nasty. And it's okay to hold your peace and not to tell people who you're voting for. You're not obligated to do that. You don't have to be going to churches where they're making you, trying to tell you who to vote for. Okay? Where they're going to round up the church and get a charter bus and put all y'all on that bus and take y'all to the voting stations, and they also want to check and they want to look at your voting receipt to make sure that you voted for who they told you to vote for. That is nonsense. Okay? Your vote, if you do vote, it is your business. You shouldn't feel bullied. You shouldn't have any peer pressure. And if you have a leader or a church that's bullying you and trying to make you a family member, they're trying to make you, and I want to see who you voted for when you leave. Wrong answer. Okay? And you have to look at that and realize election season, it's a high time. And it says our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and the rulers of the darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. Guess what? That includes the spiritual wickedness and the principalities that probably are associated or influences people you think you know. People in your household. People you thought you can trust. You're seeing a whole different side. It's almost like a full moon, how everybody get crazy. Okay? You trying to figure out, why is my friend acting like this? Because the full moon is coming. You know, the elections. They're out there like, acting crazy. Claws and stuff coming out. They're not doing anything, flying around like cockroaches acting up with you. Pay attention. It might be you too. So rein it in. And remember, God is in control. Nobody is going to be in any position unless he says so. So whatever your vote is, if you are voting, you seek God on it. You ask God. And he's going to make it clear. He's going to show you. He is going to show you very clearly. And then you do it. And when you're done with your votes, you trust him to do the rest. And if you don't vote, that's okay as well. And don't let anybody make you feel ashamed for not voting. All right, guys. God bless.